Hello, I'm John Labman at Simply Awake, and today I want to talk to you about what to do with all that guilt, regret, and remorse that you keep beating yourselves over the head with. And this is a very big problem, whether I'm working with somebody in my office as a psychotherapy client or I'm teaching somebody the path of spiritual liberation as a mentoring client. And typically, what we are taught to do with guilt, regret, remorse, and those kinds of sort of personally painful emotions where we recognize that we've done something that's hurt ourselves or hurt someone else, and by extension, hurt God because God is in us and everything else. What we often do is we simply just start to castigate ourselves, call ourselves all sorts of names. Mind you, this is all internally. And we start to try to make ourselves feel really, really bad. And some of us have been trained, if we're Catholics, to do what we call penance. Some think of this as atonement. But really, it's totally a waste of time and emotional and mental energy. What will be produced by you beating yourself over the head mentally and emotionally is simply fatigue. You won't change. You'll just get tired. And then every time you're faced with the possibility that you've done something wrong that's hurt someone else, not only will you not apologize, which of course is the most obvious thing to do if you're sad about something that you've done to somebody, but you'll also go into this realization that you're about to punish yourselves mentally and emotionally for, I don't know, an hour a day, a week, a month, a year, maybe forever, some of you, over something that you did when you were 5. And this idea we get is somehow that we are going to change ourselves by punishing ourselves like this. And I find it one of the biggest errors in all of spirituality or psychology. The truth is, I had to learn from a trauma treatment specialist what to do with emotion and what it really meant to make proper use of guilt, remorse, and regret. Because I didn't learn it in spirituality. I certainly didn't learn it from the Christians. Certainly didn't learn it from the Jews. My faith of origin, they seem to just want you to feel guilty all the time. Christians mostly teach you about penance or atonement, make up for what you did, or that God forgives and then you could just forget about it. But none of that produces lasting change. None of that produces transformation or purification or sanctification, to use some of the words I've heard about the process that turns us from egomaniacs into spiritually adept beings who are here to do the will of the divine. And it doesn't work to beat yourselves up, folks. It doesn't turn you into anything other than somebody who loathes themselves. And that's kind of a useless thing. You go through life loathing yourself, you end up loathing everything and everybody else too. So there's a very simple way that I learned when I put a couple of ideas together that will help you forevermore to stop using guilt, remorse, and regret, which are all kind of the same thing, to beat yourself over the head and feel bad about what you did. And these things will instead teach you that remorse and regret and guilt are energy in motion. They're emotions that are designed to move your whole life in a different direction. And this is what I think Christians mean when they say the word repentance. But, 7 years in the religious brainwashing cult that I lived in, many other years in other spiritual traditions, never taught me what repentance was. Repentance really is a change of heart. But it's a change of heart, a change of thinking, a change of speaking, and a change in how you do things, a change in behavior. And it's a very simple thing to go from regret, remorse, and guilt to change. Because that regret, remorse, and guilt that is emotion, and emotion is energy in motion. And that energy is designed, that guilt is designed to do one thing and one thing only. And that is to give you enough energy to pay attention to the way you think and feel and behave so that you can change it. Guilt. It actually leads to repentance, or to change of heart, word and deed, if you want to use kind of less religious language. And of course, if you feel like you've done somebody wrong, you do need to apologize to them, unless the apology hurts them more than not apologizing. But you also need to change your behavior and your thoughts and your emotions. And the way you do that is, anytime you're about to do that behavior again that you felt bad about in the first place, you remember feeling bad about it, and you say, oh gosh, I want to change this. And so you have the energy in that sort of sad, guilty emotion. The energy is available to help you pay attention to what you did that made you sad and guilty. And by paying attention to that and looking at it, you can actually change it. And that's what guilt, regret, and remorse is really for. It's not just to punish yourself and make yourself feel miserable and then go back to doing the same bad stuff you were doing before. It's actually there to change your life for the better. So next time you're ready to beat yourself over the head for doing something wrong or bad, or something you feel guilty about, or you have regret about or remorse for, remember, the energy isn't there to beat yourself over the head with. It's there so that you can learn to change the way you look at life and yourself and other people, and the way you think and feel and behave. It's so ridiculously simple. Why didn't anybody in all those lofty traditions ever really teach it to me straight? So I'm trying to teach it to you straight. Don't punish yourself for the rest of your life. Use that guilt to change. And when you change, you'll be happier, and the people around you will be happier, and God will be happier. And that's it today from Simply Awake here in Hollycong, Pennsylvania. I've got lots of room for students. If this has moved you, you think you might like to work with me, just find me on simplyawake.com and schedule a free introductory consult. You can do that right on simplyawake.com by clicking on Book Now and looking for that free introductory phone call. Thanks, everybody. Have a lovely week. Goodbye for now.